A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a dramatic escalation of tensions surrounding immigration enforcement, U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered the deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles, prompting widespread protests and clashes between demonstrators and law enforcement. Over the weekend, the situation intensified as federal immigration authorities conducted a series of raids across the city, resulting in dozens of arrests and sparking outrage among local communities, particularly those with large Latino populations. The unrest began on Friday when U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement (IC) agents arrested immigrants in various locations throughout Los Angeles. According to the Department of Homeland Security, those apprehended included individuals with serious criminal records, described as some of the worst criminal illegal aliens. However, city officials and immigration advocates have raised concerns that many of those arrested were simply street vendors and day laborers, leading to accusations of overreach by federal authorities. The protests erupted in response to these raids, with demonstrators gathering outside a federal immigration detention facility in downtown Los Angeles. Tensions boiled over as police made multiple arrests, and confrontations occurred at various raid locations, including a Home Depot and a garment factory. The protests grew in size and intensity over the weekend, with hundreds of people gathering to voice their opposition to Trump's immigration policies. In a move that has drawn sharp criticism from California officials, Trump announced the deployment of 2,000 California National Guard troops, labeling the protest a rebellion against federal authority. This marked a significant shift in federal-state relations, as it is the first time in 6 decades that a U.S. president has deployed the National Guard without a governor's request. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth indicated that the Pentagon was prepared to mobilize active-duty troops if violence continued to escalate. California Governor Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass condemned Trump's actions, describing them as an unnecessary escalation that would only serve to inflame tensions further. They urged protesters to remain peaceful, but the situation continued to deteriorate, with reports of violence and aggressive police tactics, including the use of tear gas and rubber bullets. On Sunday, thousands of demonstrators took to the streets, blocking major freeways and setting vehicles on fire in protest against Trump's order. Law enforcement responded with force, declaring unlawful assemblies and making numerous arrests. By the end of the day, police reported that at least 39 individuals had been arrested over the 2-day period of protests. In response to the federal deployment, California Attorney General Rob Bonta announced plans to sue the Trump administration, arguing that the National Guard's presence violates the state's sovereignty. Bonta's legal action reflects a growing sentiment among California officials who view the federal government's immigration crackdown as both unjust and politically motivated. As of Monday, approximately 1,000 National Guard members were reported to be in the Los Angeles area, with the full contingent of 2,000 troops expected to arrive by day's end. Additionally, the U.S. military announced the temporary deployment of around 700 Marines to assist in maintaining order. The protests have not been confined to Los Angeles. Similar demonstrations have erupted in cities across the country, including Boston, Chicago, and New York, as activists rally against Trump's immigration policies and in support of those affected by the raids. Trump has defended his decision to deploy the National Guard, asserting that it is necessary to restore order and protect federal agents. In a recent statement, he suggested that he would consider arresting Governor Newsom for his immigration policies, a remark that has been interpreted as a troubling sign of authoritarianism. Newsom responded by calling the threat an unmistakable step toward authoritarianism, further escalating the war of words between state and federal officials. Meanwhile, the situation has drawn international attention, with Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum condemning the violence and expressing concern for the welfare of Mexican nationals caught in the crossfire. Reports indicate that at least 42 Mexicans are currently being held in Los Angeles area detention centers as a result of the ICU raids. As the protests continue and tensions remain high, it is clear that the immigration debate in the United States is far from resolved. With both sides entrenched in their positions, the coming days will likely see further demonstrations, legal battles, and political maneuvering as the nation grapples with the complexities of immigration policy and enforcement. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.